1, 2, 3. Enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Have you thought of claiming compensation after an accident? Talk to Harris Fowler. Call 0800 213 214. Harris Fowler, the personal injury solicitor.
Skoda. Simply clever.
Over the years, we've seen it all when it comes to sport.
Now, Clough, I've had enough. Stop it.
And along with the absurd, we've had utter madness. And of course, those moments of pure magic. And he's done it! So join us in a sporting trip down memory lane. World of Sport continues with a look back at the 80s, Monday at 9 on ITV4.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
"57 kilometres to go then for the 5 leaders, and the time gap is starting to tumble because at the front of the peloton there is a sense of urgency creeping into the tempo, with Jeremy Hunt joining the Orica Green Edge squad to try and give them a hand to raise the pace to try and pull this group of 6 back. 57 Ks, well, it is very finely balanced, as you can see. Hunt right on the front now. Second wheel is Jack Bobridge, and also coming through is the rider from Endura to join them.
Jeremy Hunt tirelessly working, as he did yesterday, for his team sprinter Mark Cavendish on the front, really trying to set some kind of decent pace now in this peloton with only 56 kilometres to go.
Seasoned professional Hunt, and as we've mentioned in the commentary on the previous stages, Hunt has retired actually, so this is his farewell event after a very long and distinguished career which saw him clinch 2 national road race titles. Devonian, so we can expect him trying to excel when he gets down into his part of the country on this race. But the conditions today really have been wicked, with the rain peppering down, and there is a blustery strong wind as well for them to contend with, which has forced them into echelon style racing at times. Another point to bring out here, Rob, very important point as well, is they're not actually wired here for sound, so there's no radio communication. So how do the riders communicate, and how can they work out where they are and where the information comes from?
Well, information comes from 2 places. There's a whiteboard where you can see now and again the motorbikes with a pillion passenger on the back, and they have a small whiteboard with a pen, and they write on for the break, they'll write on the time difference between them back to the peloton, so they'll know the advantage that they've got, and that will be relayed to them every few minutes or so as it changes, as it goes up and down. And back at the peloton the same, they will normally have the composition of the group away, so they'll have the number of riders away, then their numbers, so that they can work out who it is and what teams are away, and then also the time difference.
It's a classic example there, just as you were talking about it, because Ronan McLaughlin actually took from his back pocket the little map of the course. They carry these, don't they, to know where they are?
That's right, they either have it in the back pocket, or sometimes some of the riders will have it written on their top tube or on the stem of their bike. So, for instance, someone like Christian House, he would most certainly have the summits, the starts and the summits of the 3 mountain climbs today, the Skoda Mountains points, so that he knows exactly how far he's got to go. He'll have his computer on the bike as well, so he can work it out, so he can match his effort accordingly. As we can see, Jack Bobridge matching an effort with the rest of his teammates.
did a massive amount of work today as Jack Bobridge, and I think the Orica Green Edge will be fully aware that there are no charitable handouts in this race, and the riders clear, the 6 who've been in a bullish mood since the start, will certainly not surrender their advantage. So this could go right down to the wire. I know we say this every day, but that was confirmed yesterday when they were only picked up really in the last 2 kilometres, the leaders.
Yeah, it was touch and go. It certainly made for an exciting finale yesterday, and today could very well be the same situation. Quite big roads on the run in here to Blackpool.
Well, that also, sorry Rob, that is not particularly an advantage, is it? I mean, in the twisting, narrow countryside, a group will profit more so from being on the wide open roads, because then they can see them. So you can see the overall general classification of each member of this break coming up. 2 minutes 56, 63rd then for McLaughlin. This is the danger man. 17 seconds you see down on the IG Markets Gold jersey in 17th spot. It was obvious that the catalyst for failure was this rider being the member of the leading group, and he's also picked up 5 seconds in bonuses today in the Yodel Sprints competition. So that is why the switch is going down at the head of the peloton. Now this is Dan Craven, he's 2 minutes and 7 back, 55th. So all these riders, or the majority, in a very healthy position to profit from the move. If they'd have all been really lowly placed, who knows, the big guns may have allowed them to stay clear. Look at this, David Lelay, the Frenchman of Sa Association, 147 back, so really danger. And the big danger, of course, Gustafsson. There's Cronshaw, who's been doing a good job in the Yodel Sprint competition, taking the points away from the others, so it won't affect his leader, and that's Williams. 7:39.68 for Cronshaw.
Yeah, I think the issue that we've got today with that Niklas Gustafsson from UK Youth, 17th at 17 seconds, he is the problem for the peloton, and also the problem for the rest of these guys, as we can see Christian House here just coming through.
House's voracious appetite for points has spilled over once again, grabbing maximum on both of the ascents today. 6 on Shapfell and 6 on Old Hutton to give him 12, and that means he's now amassed 58 points in the Skoda King of the Mountains competition. So he's turned his 5-point advantage over Pablo Urtasun, the Spaniard, to a healthy 17 points. Very nice position to be in.
Just going back to Gustafsson there in 3rd place. The fact that he's in this break means that these guys back here on the front of the peloton cannot allow him to stay away, because he will take the gold jersey of race leader if he is able to stay away. I've got a feeling if he wasn't there, with the conditions that we've got today, the peloton may very well have let this group stay away and had a relatively easier day than they've had in the last few days. But because Gustafsson's there, I don't think they're going to allow that, and we'll see these riders here from Sky in Enduro Racing and also Orica Green Edge here. You see Hepburn on the front,
but well pursued champion Hepburn, so good bike rider of course. On the boards just behind him is Ian Bibby, who's been a British cyclo-cross champion. Then it's Jeremy Hunt, then Jack Bobridge, and the line just beginning to form here a little bit at the front now, which indicates that the tempo is lifting all the time. 3 minutes 11, it's falling with every pedal rev. So the bunch are beginning to chip away here at the advantage of the 6.
It's going to get difficult for the group out ahead with only 6 riders there. It's been predominantly cross headwind today, and that wind is only going to get stronger the further out towards the coast they get here, and the finish on the promenade in Blackpool under the Blackpool Tower.
Problem for one of the Sky riders there, just stopping on the left at the back of the peloton. Probably be a puncture or a mechanical problem. Meanwhile the 6 just continue to work here.
Every rider taking their turn, nobody missing out, not as yet.
But really, he's been the man of the match, hasn't he, Christian House? He's just so aggressive every day. The plan for him, as soon as the flag drops, I'm off. He gets involved in the action.
He really has read the racing well up to now. He's got John Herity back in the team car. All of these teams here, most of them will have 2 team cars back in the convoy. At this level of racing, they're allowed that, so they'll have one car up behind him.
There's Zach Dempster, we just got a shot of, the Australian, good sprinter. Bibby on the front. Done a lot of work over the 3 stages so far, Rob, as Bibby. Looking after the interests, of course, of their team leader. And that, of course, is Jonathan Tiernan-Lock. He's had a quiet race, hasn't he, Jonathan Tiernan-Lock?
Well, yeah, he showed his face a few times. You can just see him back in the bunch. He showed himself a few times on the first day. I think he got a little bit excited, but that's generally the way for your team leader, for your GC rider. You won't see them, and the better ones, the less of them you see. Shadows.
And even though we say he's had a quiet race, he's in the cluster of riders that trail the gold jersey by just 17 seconds. So he's poised actually to be a serious threat for overall victory, and he must be licking his lips at the thought of the tough stages down, or still to come, particularly when we get down to the leg from Barnstable to Dartford. I mean, that is where I feel he's going to excel.
Yeah, I think he will. They're local roads to him. He knows them well, and we certainly got a good couple of hard stages to come, as we can see a little bit of flooding on the road. The issues here, and I've had it myself, if you're back in the convoy, you've gone back for information, you've gone back for food or bottles or even a mechanical difficulty, and you're coming back up through alongside the vehicles. If they hit that standing water, then you really can be in trouble, as you get the tidal wave come over the top of you.
Meanwhile, Bibby continues to pull the peloton along. 2:59. We're inside the 3-minute marker on 50 kilometres to go. So the same scenario is beginning to unfold here as we cross the start of the kilometre to go to the 3rd Yodel sprint, and that's at Caton, which comes at 106 kilometres.
Who will take on the sprint again?
Just keep an eye on this to see what Matt Cronshaw does in defence of his fellow teammates' overall lead. Cronshaw riding on the node for Giordana. He was second in the first sprint in Shap, and then he clinched the second one in Kendal. So far he has racked up 8 points in that competition.
Yeah, Cronshaw really did ride that second sprint in Kendal extremely well. He hung off the back of the 5 guys in front of him, allowed a gap so he could ride through. As Russell Downing having a bit of enjoyment, trying to lighten the mood somewhat in today's dreadful weather that we've got.
Looked happy, didn't he? Now then, we're getting near to the line here then for the 3rd sprint in Caton. I'm just wondering if they're going to ride through it. Now Cronshaw's going again on the left then. Cronshaw, the teammate of Peter Williams, who is the overall leader in this Yodel sprint competition. He's doing a good job here to help his teammate. He's going to get another 5 here, so that will take his tally for today to 13. A reaction then from the rider from Ireland, and he's trying to close him down. That's Ronan McLaughlin, but it will be Cronshaw that takes the 5 on the line. Second place will go to McLaughlin. So it means he's racked up 13 points today as the teammate of Peter Williams, and that of course is the winner of the sprint there, Matthew Cronshaw. Here's a chance to look at it again.
Yeah, he waited till Gustafsson in the white jersey there was coming back, and then he went the opposite side, not allowing Gustafsson to react, and react he didn't bother, and Cronshaw was able to go clear, and then McLaughlin just went after him just to try and pick up second spot. Good ride there again by Cronshaw.
And what it means, Rob, is the 13 points that he's racked up today has popped him into second place in the Yodel sprint competition. He's gone ahead of Ronnie Mathias of Sao-So-Chazon. So it means first and second in the Yodel sprint competition are riders from Node 4 Giordana. That's Peter Williams, and the man you just saw win that 3rd sprint, and that is Matthew Cronshaw.
Here we see the peloton negotiating the flood there. Bibby again on the front. He's used to that as a cyclocross rider.
2:36. It's coming down pretty quickly now, isn't it, with 48 kilometres to go. Jack Bobridge just gesticulating to the riders, be careful, there's a flood ahead. I would have thought Aussies are accustomed to having to deal with weather like that.
No. Bobridge based down in Girona in Spain, so he's certainly used to a little bit better weather than he's having to experience here the last day or two.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Hunt on the front in that strange relaxed style with his wrist resting on the centre of the bars, keeping the tempo high. Bobridge tucked in. It really is, there hasn't been little change at the front. Bobridge must have ridden most of the way, I would have thought.
He's done an awful lot of work, but he knows that later on in the race here we're going to have these other teams, Team Sky and Enduro Racing, coming up to the fore as well to help them out. And I would imagine we'll have United Healthcare as well, looking after the interests of their team leader as well, Boy Van Poppel, who's up there. He's in third place, only at 4 seconds.
Peloton has just passed over the line in Caton, and the advantage 2 minutes and 26 seconds then for the leaders over the group.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Finding your perfect home is never easy. Our new Home Finder app can help. It gives you all the tools you need to find and buy your perfect place. It's free to download now, making it easy to find and buy your new home. Halifax, the people who give you extra.
At Wix, we think bigger doesn't always mean better. We know what professional tradesmen want from a paint, so we created a white emulsion with outstanding coverage, whiteness and finish. In independent tests, over 2/3 of them preferred Wix Trade Vinyl Matte Brilliant White Emulsion to the equivalent product from the brand leader. A trade paint from Wix. It's got our name on it.
Want to get more from your laptop?
I've just got a laptop and I've been told that I should back up my files. Basically don't know how to use the laptop.
I know how to turn it on.
What about security?
Wi-Fi. Pop-ups.
Reliability.
I need to get more informed.
At which, we've used our expertise to put together a really useful, easy-use laptop guide. It's in plain English and has all sorts of tips to help you do more with your laptop.
Just what I need. This is a really good start.
Cannot be any simpler.
Call Which on 0800 380 380 for your free laptop guide. It's packed with useful advice, like setting up your laptop properly, protecting it from viruses, emailing photos, mobile broadband, and a jargon buster to help you understand the techie stuff.
Very much plain English.
And very simple to use.
Call 0800 380 380 now for your free, easy-use laptop guide.
It's a free guide.
Of course, you don't get much free nowadays, do you?
It's always good to get something for nothing.
Looks like a good guide. Taking it home with me right now.
I've been asked many times what my number one interview was. Tough question. But for over 50s life cover, the nation's number one choice is clear. The guaranteed over 50 plan from Sun Life Direct. We'd all like to leave something for our loved ones to help with funeral costs or as a cash gift. And with the nation's number one, you can do just that. If you're aged between 50 and 85, you're guaranteed to be accepted without any health questions. Cover starts from just £4 a month. You can't get this kind of cover for less. After you've had the plan for 2 years, a cash sum is paid when you're gone. Call this number today. The first month's premium is free. You get a free Parker pen just for inquiring and a welcome gift when you join. Why not put your family first with the number one choice? Call free on 800 50 55 50 or visit sunlife.co.uk.
It's the Plusnet Cheerleaders! Yeah! It's a fantastic new deal from Plusnet. Half-price broadband and UK calls from only $3.24 a month. Am I dreaming? Nope! Broadband and UK calls really are half-price from only $3.24 a month. For 12 months! Half-price broadband and UK calls from $3.24 a month. call 0800 313 4444. And we're Wix recommended again. Plus now, we'll do you proud.
Be one with it, and it will be one with you. Be one with your tyres, and the road will be one with you. Angle Tyres, official partner of DTM.
Forget your strong continental lagers, your Vorsprung Dutch technique and your Boris Becker. We bring you Germany's best export, the Bundesliga. All the action, rivalry and atmosphere from one of Europe's most exciting leagues. The Bundesliga football highlights, Mondays at 10 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
The leading group. Well, we're in the Trough of Bowland now, another very famous racing area, and of course it can provide one or two pretty stiff climbs as well. Still one more climb to come in the King of the Mountains competition, the third cat ascent of Quern Moor. That comes at 114 kilometres, so we're not too far away from it. And it means as a third cat there are only places or points given for the first four, so it's 4 for the win, 3 for the second, 2 for third and 1 for fourth. And we're about a kilometre away now from that third and final counting ascent of the day in Quern Moor. Look out for the presence of the Skoda King of the Mountains, and that's Christian House, who really has been attacking the climbs throughout with unbridled passion, clinching the first place on both. Just look at the puddles on the road. It's narrowing the actual road pedalling area down to just a thin line in the middle. That's an indication of just how much water has come down.
Yeah, riders going through there with fingers crossed, hoping that there aren't potholes and anything in the road, debris in the road underneath the standing water there, obviously making it invisible to the eye. Bibby again on the front.
Yeah, he's been in superb form, hasn't he, throughout the whole of this tour. Look at that ahead. Well, look at the water here ahead as we're getting nearer to the third climb of the day. This is literally a lake. Well, we are in the Lake District, aren't we?
Well, if we're not, it will be soon.
So so the Lake District is providing the riders to ride in the lakes as well. They can ride on water and in water.
Well, the weather doesn't stop the school children coming out to support the riders.
Loving it. So we're just about ready to cross the line here. This is the start of the final climb of the day at Quern Moor, the third category ascent. On the line, points for the first 4 over, and 4 for the win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and 1 for fourth. Now then, Christian House will be looking for a clean sweep here on the mountains competition today. First at the top of Shapfell, first at the top of Old Hutton. So he's already amassed 12 points from the challenge of the climbs, and his lead has gone up significantly. He's now totaled 58 points so far, 17 points ahead of Pablo Urtasun, the Spaniard who rides on the Euskadi team.
Two riders at the back of the peloton there just trying to negotiate, and we've got a puncture here for Orica Green Edge.
Was that Jack Bobridge? I think it was Jack Bobridge, wasn't it? It was delayed.
Certainly one of the issues with weather conditions like we've got today with punctures, but here we can see Gustafsson is just back with his team car, just getting information relayed to him, as these riders do not have race radio, so if they need any more information they have to go back to the team car. Not an issue with a group like this, but his team car is certainly taking him out the back here and giving him an awful lot of work to do to get back And there we see, I mentioned earlier, one of the issues, if you're back with the vehicles and you go through those puddles, you can soon get washed off of your bike.
Now then, that's a slightly illegal pull there, I think.
It's a sticky bottle.
It was a sticky bottle. He couldn't get the bottle out of the hand of the man in the team car, which obviously just helped him with a sort of hand sling, but we didn't really see it, did we? Or did we? Take another look at it. Here's the water, look. Oh dear. That's a nice present, isn't it? His shoes now, which are already wet, must now be absolutely full of water.
Well, that was the mechanic there handing the bottle out, and I think he was asking the driver there, just move forward. I could do with saving myself washing that bike later on.
Now then, we're getting nearer to the summit of this final climb, and we are just looking to see whether Christian House is going to take the maximum points at the top. As the bunch now, well, they've cut that lead down to 1 minute and 53 seconds. So the ingredients here are beginning to reflect a bunch sprint again, which is going to happen on the Golden Mile in Blackpool. Still work to do for Gustafsson. Certainly got a bit of work to do here. May enjoy a little bit of pace from that motorbike as they cross the line at Quern Moor. So we'll wait for the result to be confirmed.
Gustafsson took himself an awful long way out the back of this group here to speak to his team car. He should have stayed only a few lengths off.
Look at the crowd. Big crowd here. They're loving every moment of it. Of course, they're following the action live on ITV4 every day, and then of course the reprise in the evening, and they know exactly where the race is going to be the next day, so they can just come out and cheer the riders on from the roadside. So the field must surely realise now they're on borrowed time. What do you think? Borrowed time now for the team, Rob. Where would you, or the group, I should say? Where do you think they're going to be picked up?
Well, I think it's going to be on the flat run in. It's pan flat for at least the last 30-35 kilometres off the back of the descent of this next climb at Quern Moor. Somewhere along the run in there, as they head out towards the coast, they'll be setting themselves up for the last dead straight 3 kilometre run in here.
Now then, we're nearing the summit of the climb, and Christian House at the front, just gathering himself here, looking for the sprint and of course the maximum points. He's going to really attack this. He wants another full house at the top. It's 4 for the first rider over the top, just dancing on the pedals out of the saddle. Here he comes up to the line. Yep, Christian House takes it. 4 points to add to his tally. So what a fruitful day he's had then. That takes his overall accumulation of points today to 16 to add to the 46 that he started off with at the start of the day. So he's now got 62 points, and that is 21 points ahead of his nearest challenger, Pablo Urtasun.
Yeah, you can see the other riders there not contesting that sprint, happy to let Christian House roll across the front of the line there and take maximum points on that Category 3 climb.
So Christian House's unbridled passion then for the King of the Mountains jersey has reflected very strongly today, and he will be on the podium later in Blackpool in the protocolaire ceremony. Now meanwhile we can concentrate again at the head of the peloton, the business end here of the main bunch of riders, and it's all down to Orica Greenedge and Sky on the right, Orica Greenedge in the middle of our screen, and the riders from Endura, that's Bibby of Endura, and they're all getting involved now with the chase. Jeremy Hunt on the extreme left as well.
One of the riders from United Healthcare as well coming up to the front. As I said earlier, Boy Van Poppel, their man, he's currently in 3rd place, only 4 seconds back from Lee Howard, Orica Greenedge. They'll be looking after him, trying to get him up there in the sprint today. See the wind.
Bobridge just getting back into the safe haven of the peloton after that wheel change. No problem for him, just using his electrifying pace as a pursuiter.
Crowd still out today. I'm sure they all watch the weather reports this morning before they came out, but it certainly didn't stop them.
Weather hasn't deterred them at all, has it? As the peloton have just crossed the summit of that final climb at Quernmore. And the lead now down to 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Scotland might surprise you. There's more than one way to see our sights. And you can leave the binoculars at home. The natives are friendly, alright. Even when they're playing with fire. And can you honestly think of a better place to have a wee nightcap before you turn in? So this year, surprise yourself. Visit Scotland.
Need a new look? Introducing the new Link styling range. Get the look that gets the girls. New Link styling, also available in shampoo.
It's the Plusnet cheerleaders! Yeah! It's a fantastic new deal from Plusnet. Half-price broadband and UK calls from only $3.24 a month. Am I dreaming? Nope! Broadband and UK calls really are half price from only $3.24 a month for 12 months. Half price broadband and UK calls from $3.24 a month. Call 0800 313 4444. And we're Wix recommended again. Plusnet will do you proud.
Sorry. Sometimes sorry makes it all okay. But First for Lawyers are there for when sorry isn't enough. You see, First for Lawyers are experienced personal injury specialists. You keep 100% of your compensation. So find out free if you can make a no-win, no-fee claim. Call First for Lawyers first on 0800 567 7833.
Gary saved £200 on his home insurance at Money's Supermarket, and now he feels epic. Save money and feel epic. You're so Money Supermarket, you don't even know it.
At Wix, we think bigger doesn't always mean better. We know what professional tradesmen want from a paint. So we created a white emulsion with outstanding coverage, whiteness and finish. In independent tests, over 2/3 of them preferred Wix Trade Vinyl Matte Brilliant White Emulsion to the equivalent product from the brand leader. A trade paint from Wix. It's got our name on it.
You try your best to bring them up right. Teach them how to behave. But they'll still go where they shouldn't and get into scrapes or even need a visit to the vet. So it's good to know that pet insurance from Sainsbury's Bank provides fantastic comprehensive cover up to £7,500 in vet's fees for illness or injury. What's more, when you buy over the phone, you can get a £50 gift card. Plus double Nectar points on your Sainsbury's shopping for 2 years. Call now on 08000 121 616.
Is my son alive? Where's my son? I'm the daddy now. Next time I'll kill you. Well, it's cut. Let's go now. You better not no choice, Jack.
Films that left their mark on the landscape of British cinema. Britflick season continues with The Craze, tonight at 10 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Now the leading group is down to 4, and the reason for this is Matt Cronshaw, riding on the team of Node 4 Giordana, just a couple of kilometres back decided he was going to take it on his own, and he put in quite a big attack. He went clear, and then a reaction came from the other 3 to join up with him. So it means now we have a leading group of 4, and they are trying to hold off the peloton with 35 kilometres to go. So between the 4, we've got the 2 that have been dropped from the group, and then the main field.
Yeah, Cronshaw, fantastic effort he put in there on some of the sheltered roads. And then he's got 3 riders come across with him. It was McLaughlin in the green from Anpost who made the counter-attack. Here we can see Cronshaw going. He made his move in the shelter of the trees here.
It was a determined effort, wasn't it? But I mean, he didn't want to try and stay away on his own. He needed company, because I criticised the fact that there was still a long way to go. But the ideal situation developed when the other 3 jumped across to him.
Yeah, it's difficult. 37 kilometres to go. In these conditions, extremely hard for any one rider to stay out there away and keep any advantage over riders from behind.
So the brace of riders that have lost contact here are David Lelay from the French team of Sao-Chasson, and Christian House of Rafa Condor. Now, I'm not surprised that Christian House has decided not to bother, because he's done his job today, collecting all the points that he wanted. We confirm the standings: 61 provisional standings, these for you. 61 on advantage over Uterzan of 20.
Yeah, Christian House, sensible move by him. If he has decided not to take up the chase, he'll be happy now to run in, absolutely pan flat all the way into Blackpool here at the finish. His job done for the day. Great job he's done there, picking up maximum points in that Jürgel King of the Mountains.
Well, he certainly amplified his intentions, didn't he, from the word go when the flag dropped in Carlisle. He was away with that group, and there's just one thing on his mind, and that's to tame the opposition who have any intentions of trying to stop him clinching that King of the Mountains, and he's done it in very good style again today. He's a prodigious talent, is Christian House, so he's going to go back to the peloton for a breather and sit in the wheels for the final 30 kilometres, and then he'll be popping out tomorrow to try and collect more points in that competition. Now then, the question you've got to ask yourself is 144, good working group of 4 here. What do you think? Can they do it? The danger man still here is Gustafsson, just 17 seconds back from the overall leader.
Gustafsson, he's gone back as well. He's been dropped by these 4 riders, so once the peloton start to see him, they'll certainly be happier, and quite possibly allow these 4 riders to stay away. It's unlikely. Once they've got the bit between the teeth, they'll continue, as we can see here. House and Gustafsson around 20 seconds behind the 4 leaders now, their former breakaway companions. House happy to just sit on. It's all up to Gustafsson now. As we've said, House, his job done. He'll be happy to get back in the peloton.
Well, in actual fact, I said that it was actually Gustafsson in that leading group. In fact, Gustafsson is the man here at the back with Christian House. So it's actually David Lelay of the French team of Sao-Chasson that is ahead in the 4. So that may play into the hands of the group staying clear.
Yes, it should do. It could quite possibly allow the peloton to realise that there's nobody of any danger at all now up in this front group. But having said that, they have got the bit between their teeth, and they've started to reel the group in, and I'm sure that they will be happy to continue with that job and that task in hand.
So let me just repeat, the brace of riders that have lost contact with the leaders is Nicholas Gustafsson, the highest placed overall at 17 seconds, representing UK Youth Cycling, and Christian House of Rafa Condor, who of course has done his job well today in his quest to try and secure the King of the Mountains competition. The four that are still ahead, Matthew Cronshaw riding well, along with David Lelay, the Frenchman, Dan Craven, and the Irishman on the An Post Sean Kelly team, Ronan McLaughlin.
Oh, we can see the shadows now underneath the riders. Blue sky above. The sun is starting to come out and warm these riders, but for how long? Not too much, I'm sure. Extremely unpredictable weather today.
Do you think that Gustafsson, when he went back to the car and they were discussing the distance and the way the lead was falling, whether the manager had said, well, I shouldn't bother continuing because I don't think you're going to stay clear?
Well, it's quite possible, because if he did continue and try and push as hard as he could to try and maintain that lead, the inevitability of them getting caught was still there, and if they had done that, he could lose more time if he had no energy left, pushed himself all the way to stay out clear. And once that peloton caught them, to bring it into the sprint here for Blackpool, possibility is he could go out the back and lose even more time.
Speculating on the possibility of the four arriving at the finish ahead, who would your money be on for the sprint?
I would say, looking at it at the moment, Cronshaw's been sprinting extremely well. Having said that, Lelay, he has won stages before. He has won that Circuit de la Sarre back in 2009, so I would probably put my money down on the French rider here.
Well, we shall see if they can stay clear. David Lelay is Rob's tip, who's riding on Sochazon, the French team. Matthew Cronshaw representing Node 4 Giordana, the squad that's based in Stone, actually, a company there run by Phil Griffiths, a former multi-national time trial champion and a silver medal winner in the Commonwealth Games himself. Still an enthusiast. He'll be there tomorrow in Stoke, having a look at his riders arriving. Ronan McLaughlin, of course, is the Irish member here for the An Post Sean Kelly team, and the other member, Dan Craven himself, the 24-year-old, riding on the IG Sigma Sport team. Now, the IG Sigma Sport squad are managed by none other than the little man himself, Roger Hammond, who was third in the Paris-Roubaix, now retired as a top pro. Do you think his influence is helping here with their squad? They had a rider away yesterday as well for most of the way, remember?
Yeah, quite possibly, and let's not forget Roger Hammond, a winner on this very finish line back in 2005, I believe.
And he also had a win in Liverpool as well, so he's had it's been a very fruitful hunting ground, the Tour of Britain, for Roger Hammond, so his experience and knowledge will certainly be helping with the morale of the team of IG Sigma Sport. And there we are, on cue, the team car coming up. Is that Roger Hammond just talking to Dan Craven? I can't quite see from this distance.
That looks like James Williamson there in the driver's seat for IG Sigma. I think Roger Hammond will probably be back in team car number 1, back looking after his other riders back in the peloton. These teams, most of them do have 2 team cars here in the convoy in this race.
29 kilometres to go, 1 minute and 22 seconds. The race is finally poised now. It's around about 18 miles. No, it is. It's around about 15 miles of racing left. Racing capes no longer required. And look at that for a glorious shot. And that shot also tells you, with the brightening of the sky, that the weather conditions are improving.
They are getting better, but we still do have a strong wind here coming off of the sea in Blackpool here. These 4 riders now, still a fairly decent gap, 1 minute and 54, just under 30 kilometres to go.
They are really burying themselves, aren't they, here? Just to repeat my earlier comment, they know there aren't going to be any charitable handouts from the peloton, and that is why they're all fully, totally committed here. They would love to arrive on that golden mile to sprint it out for this prestigious stage in Blackpool. Meanwhile, these two waiting patiently for the arrival of the peloton. They'll just tuck into the wheels. Christian House looking back to say, come on boys, I want to join in. gets sucked along in the safety of the bunch.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
So much can change in 4 years. That's why I've introduced the all-new Renault 4 Plus package. No matter where life takes you, we'll be there.
Henry Cavill, Sigourney Weaver, and Bruce Willis.
Who are you people? Tell me!
The Cold Light of Day on DVD and Blu-ray now.
At Wix, we think bigger doesn't always mean better. We know what professional tradesmen want from a paint, so we created a white emulsion with outstanding coverage, whiteness and finish. In independent tests, over 2/3 of them preferred Wix Trade Vinyl Matte Brilliant White Emulsion to the equivalent product from the brand leader. A trade paint from Wix. It's got our name on it.
You try your best to bring them up right. Teach them how to behave. But they'll still go where they shouldn't and get into scrapes or even need a visit to the vet. So it's good to know that pet insurance from Sainsbury's Bank provides fantastic comprehensive cover up to £7,500 in vet's fees for illness or injury. What's more, when you buy over the phone, you could get a £50 gift card. Plus double Nectar points on your Sainsbury's shopping for 2 years. Call now on 08000 121 616.
It's the Plusnet Cheerleaders! Yeah! It's a fantastic new deal from Plusnet. Half-price broadband and UK calls from only $3.24 a month. Am I dreaming? Nope! Broadband and UK calls really are half-price from only $3.24 a month. For 12 months. Half-price broadband and UK calls from $3.24 a month. Call 0800 313 4444. And we're Wix recommended again. Plusnet will do you proud.
Sorry. Sometimes sorry makes it all okay. But First for Lawyers are there for when sorry isn't enough. You see, First for Lawyers are experienced personal injury specialists. You keep 100% of your compensation. So find out free if you can make a no-win, no-fee claim. Call First for Lawyers first on 0800 567 7833.
Gotta go, guys. Big day tomorrow.
I'll be fine. I'm staying.
Don't cut your weeknight short. Instantly energize your skin to look fresh with Skin Energy Moisturizer from Nivea for Men, the world's #1 skincare brand. And now, get a third off the Nivea for Men Skin Energy range at Boots.
Oh, and then he taped his face to the dog.
Would you mind doing me a massive favour?
Spent an hour today talking about staplers.
I just feel differently about you now, and He texted me back saying, see you later.
See you later?
What does that even mean?
How would you feel about us being more than friends?
Oh.
You're going to be an auntie. There's a cup for every coffee moment at McDonald's. All our full bean coffees are made with espresso from freshly ground Arabica beans.
Look at that. Clear as a hermit's diary, crisp as a vicar's laundry.
Anything else at this time would just be wrong.
Like a Monday roast.
What cherries at Wimbledon?
Quiche at half-time.
Trainers at a dinner party.
Gordon's. Shall we get started?
Over the years, we've seen it all when it comes to sport.
Now, Clough, I've had enough. Stop it.
And along with the absurd, we've had utter madness and, of course, those moments of pure magic. And he's done it! So join us in a sporting trip down memory lane. World of Sport continues with a look back at the 80s, Monday at 9 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Well, with 24.9 kilometres to go, We have moved into a very exposed section here, and the side wind is causing havoc because an echelon formed at the front, and Bradley Wiggins, using his great experience and speed, lifted the pace significantly, and the rest of the team, along with Endura, joined in. And what has happened here is the field has fractured, and one or two of the riders behind are really struggling to stay on the pace. This move is causing a lot of damage.
All sorts of damage being done here. You can see just a little bit further back the echelons forming as the riders scrabble to try and get protection from the rider in front. It's so difficult to get across to the echelon further ahead.
This is a monumental injection of pace as the big players in the race now are beginning to take the field apart. This, of course, is so important because this can rejig the overall standings should the elastic snap and they can't get back up to them.
Here's the riders further back. This isn't the front of the peloton, this is a group that's fractured off the back of it. You can see them all fighting for position. Panic is ensuing in this group back here, as we can see some of the younger GB riders there just going off the back.
Looking for the IG Markets Gold jersey of Lee Howard, of course, with them wearing racing capes. It's difficult to spot it, but I'm just wondering if he's in that move. I would have thought he would have been with his experience, because all these top teams will know, they'll have worked it out where the crosswinds are going to be and where they can cause problems.
Well, it was a real open section of road there that Bradley Wiggins from Team Sky decided to inject that pressure on the rest of the riders. Just going across the fields, there were only a few hedgerows for protection, giving nothing at all really to those riders. You get caught napping further down the back.
Looking down, I think we can see there the IG Markets Gold jersey. Yes, we can. So the experience then of Lee Howard is reflected. He's right up there with the leaders. No problem then for the Aussie Lee Howard. Mark Cavendish is also in this group. Remember, they're locked on the same time after the 3 stages that have been completed, and this looks to be quite a significant break here. One of the riders from Garmin Sharp has read the move. Now then, Luke Rowe's also up there. Now look at this, the aerial shot will reflect the damage that has been done. We're looking down at the 4. Remember, they're 135 ahead of the group that are now distancing themselves from the rest of the peloton. This is going to be quite a dramatic finish, and this could be the defining moment of the tour, because if this crosswind persists and these riders keep the switch down, we could have quite a lot of time lost by the rest of the field.
Well, Hugh, those small time bonuses that we've had in the race up to now, in these sprints and also on the finish, they're going to pale into significance to so many of the riders if they've been caught out, and they're going to lose massive amounts of time. The possibilities of that happening are massive at the moment, as we can see Bradley Wiggins still applying the pressure.
Well, it's gone. This group has gone. So the work being done then by the strongmen at the front in that crosswind section has created a lot of damage, and the peloton are going backwards. Zach Dempster sitting second wheel, the Aussie riding on Endura. He's read the move well, and we've got quite a posse of riders now that are beginning to distance themselves from the rest of the peloton.
Here we can see the riders here, the back of that front group there of the peloton. They're safely in the wheels here. Mark Cavendish, you can just see here on the right hand side of the screen, safely in the wheels and the protection. But Sky, they're the big gainers of this move here today. Sky and Orica Greenedge, they've all read the move.
They've read the move very well. Just caught a glimpse of Russell Downing as well. There he is on the right of our screen, and Downing is sitting in 6th position overall, just 12 seconds back, and he's got his sprinting boots with him on this tour. So looking at the front, it is Luke Rowe, followed by Bradley Wiggins, then the overall race leader Lee Howard. Just behind him is the rider from Garmin Sharp, and this is a very, very important move.
This is going to turn the GC further down the line on its head. The top of the standings at the moment, I haven't seen if Boy Van Poppel is still there, but we've certainly got first place Lee Howard. Cavendish is in there, Luke Rowe, Russell Downing,
United Healthcare, of course, Boy Van Poppel is riding for. Now then, this is the aerial shot, 1 minute and 17 seconds, the window of advantage for the quartet of riders that are still ahead. It's going to be a tenuous approach to Blackpool, as that group that has now begun to establish itself clear of the peloton, hunting down the four. They're hunting down their quarry. Every pedal rev is taking them nearer.
Long sections of straight road, pan flat. So before long, the group behind the chasing group there, led by Team Sky, will soon be able to see the vehicles following these four riders here out in front. And once they see them, that really will drive them on. As we see Russell Downing here, just swinging off the front, Bradley Wiggins taking over from him.
And once they do get to the closing kilometres, Rob, when they swing onto Queen's Promenade, it's a long, long ride along the Golden Mile through the promenade to the finish to nail down this prestigious stage victory. Right, the Racing Cape's gone. And here he is, ready for business again. The man of the moment yesterday, Mark Cavendish, with an emphatic victory in the sprint, looking as though he's ready for more, licking his lips at the thought of another sprint.
Yes, I'm sure he's looking to replicate that win from yesterday. But he's also looking to get Luke Rowe up there as well, who's up there on standings for that general classification.
Remember, Great Britain have yet to win this race, the 9th edition of the Tour of Britain, and we're still looking for the first British winner. Steve Cummings has been second twice, Ian Stannard has been third, but we haven't managed to get the winner. But I tell you what, it's looking very good on this year's tour, and Team Sky, who won the team award in the event last year, are the serious contenders. There is the IG Markets gold jersey then of the Aussie Lee Howard, just crouching down, a multi-world champion on the track in the Madison and the Omnium, riding with Cameron Meyer in the Madison. Good stage wins as well in the Tour of Japan. 20 kilometres to go, 12.5 miles remaining, and the lead is just 61 seconds.
20 kilometres to go, no more feeding allowed from the cars with the riders, but feeding is the last thing on these riders' minds now. It's all about getting to the finish. For those four riders, can they stay away? For this group back here, led by Team Sky, can they bring them in? You see Enduro Racing there, Jonathan Tieran Locke there, second place rider, the smaller rider there in the black. What a ride he's done. He's read this move perfectly. He'll certainly be looking to the back end of this race to come away with that gold jersey.
But of course, Jonathan Tiernan Locke, his signature discipline, well, it's the mountains, so he will be figuring strongly, particularly down in Caerphilly, I would have thought, when they've got two ascents of Caerphilly Mountain. That's when he may just show his hand. He's well placed in the race. Looking at the sprinters then in that group that could actually lift their arms with the victory salute. We know Mark Cavendish is there. Lee Howard has already showed us that he can sprint very strongly when he won stage 2, denying victory for Mark Cavendish. Zach Dempster's a fast finisher, and of course Russell Downing. These are all men that could be looking for the win in the sprint. Boy Van Poppel also very quick over the closing stages. There we are. You're looking now at the front part of the peloton. And this really is indicating drama, because it was all about that echelon section with the crosswind when the experienced riders of Sky and the other big players moved to the front and really did apply the pressure, putting the rest of the peloton to the sword. Tiernan Locke on the front as they watch another greasy corner. Zach Dempster's up there. Good sprinter as well, Dempster.
Yeah, Dempster, no mean sprinter himself, as you say, but he'll be there looking for his team leader, his team sprinter, Russell Downing. He's not been outside of the top few over the previous stages. He'll certainly be looking to get himself up there today on this finish. Bernie Eisel now, Team Sky, taking up the chase. 44 seconds now to these four leaders. Crenshaw, Hilley, Craven and McLaughlin. Still great crowds out for this finish on the run into Blackpool. As we said, pan flat. Small amount of protection here from the sides of the roads in through the buildings.
Rob, I can tell you there are 27 riders in this group that have distanced themselves from the rest of the peloton. So we've got the 4 we're looking at still clear by the scant margin of 38 seconds. Then we've got a group of 27. And then, of course, we have got the residue of the peloton that has fractured significantly. And members of this group that are chasing down the 4, the gold jersey holder, the IG Markets gold jersey holder, Lee Howard is there as we look once again at the breakaway. They must know now they're on borrowed time. They know they're on borrowed time. The breakaway, when they get caught, you're looking at the front here of the peloton, and the peloton is closing the breakaway down all the time, Endura and Sky.
Yep, these two teams working extremely well on the front. They're the only two teams now really happy to work. The others certainly happy to sit back in, try and recover and see what they can do for this sprint finish.
Just look at the relaxed style here of Bradley Wiggins on the front. Such a prodigious talent, isn't he? Bradley Wiggins. Remember, he's won 6-day races. He won the Ghent 6 days, former European Derby champion. He won that actually in the inaugural meeting in the Newport Velodrome down in South Wales. He's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist and, of course, winner of all the most magnificent road tours, including the Tour de France this year. Absolutely in his element then, Bradley Wiggins.
Such a smooth star. We can see that here from the helicopter shot. Great shot this is. Gives a better perspective of the speed that this group is travelling at now. You see the speed of the lines and the markings on the road travelling underneath these guys. Russell crouched down behind Bradley Wiggins, just trying to hide away from the wind, try and take maximum protection as he takes up the pace. Massive amount of damage done there by Team Sky, and especially Bradley Wiggins there really did put the pace up. As we can see the rainbow jersey there of Mark Cavendish coming through into 5th place.
It sends such a phenomenal signal, doesn't it? The Arc-en-Ciel, the rainbow jersey, the one that everybody wants to wear. It is the ultimate jersey in single day racing, isn't it? You're a marked man, but of course you are the respected man. And to wear a jersey with the rainbow bands as being the professional road race champion of the world, the ultimate achievement. Mark Cavendish, of course, the Manx Express, the Manxman himself, is the holder of that. Now then, looking down the sprinters, what do you think then, Rob? It could be stage win number 2 here for Cavendish.
It really could. He's got Luke Rowe there, as we can see the distance now. Just looking at the combination of the jerseys, and it seems that that young GB team unfortunately has missed out on this. We've seen an awful lot of them down at the back of the peloton over the course of this race, and that's the place where you really don't want to be, and you get caught out, especially on a day like this, and they seem to have been caught out.
15 kilometres to go, the 4 still ahead, but it's only 30 seconds. Once again, the composition of this leading group ahead: Matt Cronshaw, Node 4 Giordana, David Lelay, Sarso Chasson, Dan Craven of IG Sigma Sport, and number 126 Rowan McLaughlin, and Post Sean Kelly. The group behind, chasing them down, comprises of 27 riders, including the whole of the Sky team, who will be looking after the interests of the joint overall leader, Mark Cavendish, riding on the Sky squad. Also there, the leader, wearing the IG Markets gold jersey, and that is Lee Howard. We're in for a very spicy finish.
This is going to be an extremely quick finish. 3 kilometres straight line down to the finish here underneath the tower at Blackpool. Hand flat, the wind will be coming across from their right hand shoulder off of the beach.
Just turning that gear effortlessly on the front, isn't he, Wiggins? It's a huge gear as well, but he makes it look so easy, just like a metronome, rhythmically spinning the gear. And then his teammates coming through. The big strong man that's on the squad, Bernie Eisel, and of course Christian Knaes, very powerful. 22 seconds. this is an exact replica of yesterday's situation.
It is. It looked touch and go yesterday at times. Whether that group was going to come back, those two lone riders. Here we've got 4 of them. Yet again, it's a replica of yesterday with Team Sky on the front. Endura Racing. Zach Dempster there in second place behind Bernie Eisel from Team Sky.
Steele Van Hoff is in this group as well, number 146, riding on the Garmin Sharp team. As we look once again at the breakaway, and there's a big injection of pace at the front here coming from Ronan McLaughlin of Anposh Sean Kelly. Looks as though he's trying to distance himself from the rest, and the task of trying to bridge back to the Irishman's wheel is left for Dan Craven. He's got about a 15-metre advantage, and the front group has broken significantly. 20 seconds to go as generous applause begins to reverberate from the side there, with the spectators putting their hands together. Now this is a very, very ambitious early strike for home as we get back to the peloton. Look at the style here of Wiggins, the face of concentration.
The other way McLaughlin took this bend, which Bradley Wiggins is about to take. It looked extremely sketchy. Can these guys get themselves round the bend with no problems? It looks like they have.
You can see in the distance there the famous Blackpool Tower. And look here, gulping in the air then, the leader, Ronan McLaughlin, really powering his way along now. This is very, very ambitious indeed. Very ambitious by the Irishman.
It is, it's do or die.
Sweeping across the river wire here now, and this of course is a very, very exposed section, and of course not the ideal scenario for a small group ahead, because it means the peloton can see them. And there we are, the line beginning to form. Also up there is Zach Dempster in second position, riding on the Endura team. A little bit further down, the diminutive figure of Russell Downing, and there is the world champion, and that's Mark Cavendish now really beginning to get the race face on.
Race face there for Jeremy Hunt as well, just off the back of Cavendish there. Done an awful lot of work today earlier on in this race, and his job now is just to see what he can do in the run-in. He won't be doing much more work on the front, not at this moment in time. Not possible. He's done so much work, tirelessly worked the last 2 days for his Team Sky.
They really do look after Mark Cavendish down there. Just look at him there, just tucked in the wheels nicely. And you could see then when Wiggins swung over, I think it was Knace that came through then. Eisel was up there as well to give them a hand as we come back once again to the leaders. Well, this is a really determined effort now. Do or die then by McLaughlin. Dan Craven, he's trying desperately to get into the wheel of the Irishman. I think the Irishman would do better to sit up and wait for him, because then they can share the workload.
No, he would be. He just needs to back off just a little bit. Let Dan Craven, both of those riders that can then take it 50-50. The workload. He's not doing himself any favours at the moment by trying to stay clear of Dan Craven. He really does need to wait and get together, as he does do here. Dan Craven just needs to take a bit of a breather. It's taken an awful lot of energy for him to try and get back to McLaughlin there from Ampost in the green.
Well, he's still got a bit of energy left, look, because he's coming through now to contribute to the pace, but it's only 16 seconds now as the big train on the front of Sky begin to assemble. And this is one of the defining moments of the Tour. I wouldn't say it's the final selection, Rob, with the kind of terrain that we've still got to come, but what it does indicate just how difficult echelon racing is. It's even harder than the climbing.
Well, this is classic flatland racing that we're seeing here, and the wet conditions have only added to that. As we've seen, still plenty of people out on the side of the road. The schools have come out. The pain etched across McLaughlin's face there, showing the effort that he's putting in. And we can see the trees there on the left-hand side, just emphasising that wind that these riders are having to try and ride through. Again, Jonathan Tierenlock taking his turn on the front. I feel he really should be sat in behind in the wheels. The selection's been made now. He's gaining time on a lot of guys who will be looking for that overall GC contention at the back end of this race later on in the week and at the weekend.
10 kilometres to go. There we are. The sporting handshake, and they have capitulated. Here come the peloton. sweeping up the final two survivors of a break of 6 that have been clear nearly throughout the whole of the day. And those final two survivors, Dan Craven and the Irishman Ronan McLaughlin. So I was going to say it's status quo. That's hardly the case, because we've got this leading group around about 30 riders now that are going away from the residue of the peloton. This morning then 94 took the start, so there are 60 odd riders losing a lot of time here as we look at Russell Downing crouching down on the front, a real good sprinter, twice the British road race champion, past winner of the Tour of Ireland. Downing could be in with a chance here in the sprint, but of course when you've got Mark Cavendish there, everybody's on the back marker.
Yeah, Mark Cavendish, I can only imagine he's the rider there trying to set up. But just thinking back there to Dan Craven with 10 kilometres to go, he's done himself no harm whatsoever. He's got himself selected in this front group. It's all the damage has been done behind him. He's only 2:07 off of that gold leaders jersey, that IG leaders jersey of this year's Tour of Britain. So he's done himself a massive favour if he can stay with this group all the way into the finish now.
Just trying to see who else is in this group from the Endura team, Rob. We've obviously labelled the two there, who of course are Zach Dempster and Russell Downing. Ian Bibby was doing a massive amount of work before. I'm just assuming, of course, that Jonathan Tiernan-Locke is in the lineup.
Yep, Tiernan-Locke, he's the one there. He's up there, as we can see. Garmin Sharp just having a few difficulties, a few issues. Sepp van Mark, the rider who lit the race up yesterday, tried to stay away. He's having a few issues. Is it his back brake or his saddle? I wondered if it was his chain. This weather does an awful lot of damage to the chain and the drive gear on bikes.
Aerial shot here then of the outskirts of Blackpool. 8.6 kilometres to go now. It will not be long before the field arrive at the line here at the end of the promenade, the Golden Mile. Scene of so many bike race finishes. Many years ago it always used to host the finish of the milk race and the start for many years. The run-in, not like the run-ins we've had on the previous stages. Technical, this absolutely straight, almost straight as a die once they get on the promenade with 3 kilometres to go. So it will then be all about control at the front with the power of no doubt the Sky team, and one or two others will try and profit from that. The kind of running like this, Rob, it's difficult, isn't it, to see how anybody can stop Sky getting this.
Yeah, on paper these are the team to beat, and obviously with a rider like Mark Cavendish, as we saw yesterday, when he's given a clear run and he gets his timing right and his teammates give him the lead out that he requires, there's no stopping him.
Well, the likely threat, of course, is going to come from Lee Howard, the overall race leader. He's proved that he can, well, take the winning spoils away from Cavendish. He did it in Knowsley Safari Park, although there I feel that Cav laid off the wheel a little bit to give Luke Rowe the chance, and of course the Australian profited from that, and then Cavendish left himself a little bit too much work to do.
Yeah, he did, but that was the only time that we've seen anybody sprinting head to head with Mark Cavendish, the only rider who's able to take a victory away from him. So Lee Howard will certainly be one of the riders that Cavendish, if not the rider, that Mark Cavendish will be worried about. But I think his concern is just on his own effort and the effort that his Sky teammates can give him. Luke Rowe, I would imagine, he'll be the last rider to drop him off and try and set him up for the victory here. And I'm just looking back. Big Magnus Backstead, he's made it, Team UK Youth. He'll be revelling in this today. This is the kind of racing that he's used to. This is what he loves, and he's certainly working to his strengths today.
So Maggie Backstead right up there as well, currently placed 28th overall in the race at 33 seconds. So the big man is having a good day. Well, I can tell you that the advantage for the leading group of the peloton is 1 minute and 23 seconds. How important is that going to be then when we go to count back on the next stages. Jonathan Tiernan-Locke just moving up the line here. There's Magnus Backstead, number 152. One of the Garmin Sharp riders as well, tucked in the wheel. And there is number 143, I think that was just going through for Garmin Sharp.
52 there, Brett Lancaster. If Lee Howard wanted a lead-out man, Brett Lancaster would be the guy to do that, and he's also made this group. It looked like there's only one Liquigas rider, and that's certainly not the team leader, Basso. It looks like Caruso.
And of course Rath is in there as well for Garmin Sharp, who's another pretty handy finisher. So most of the big players have read this move very, very well indeed.
Yeah, Mark Cavendish there at the back of the screen here on the left-hand side. He's in there, tucked away. He's got all his riders around him. It's Jeremy Hunt on his wheel, just protecting him from behind. He's obviously the wheel that everybody wants, that everybody fights for, and unfortunately we saw that on the first day. Everybody battling for his wheel. And it was an Etap rider that just got underneath him in that third to last right-hander before the finish. Unfortunately took him down.
Let's not forget, when we're looking through the wheels here as well, Rob, Boy Van Poppel is actually wearing the Chain Reaction Cycles points classification jersey, so that'll take a little bit of picking out if he's up to the front in the sprint.
Yeah, I think I can see him there just on the left-hand side of the screen, so he's on the right-hand side. He's around about 6 guys back, I think, looking from this angle. So he has made it, certainly looking up. He's in the middle of the peloton now. So what's left of the peloton, that is. There's not many here now. Massive amount of damage Team Sky did earlier on.
So instead of the United Healthcare strip on Boy Van Poppel, he's wearing the Chain Reaction Cycles points classification leaders jersey. Another good sprinter. Just 4 from the back then is Lee Howard, the overall leader of the competition. And we have a very, very select quality group here that have now gone away. This is a monumental message that's being sent to the rest of the field. 5 kilometres of racing left. And who's going to triumph here then on the line at the end of the Golden Mile? You can see in the distance then the famous tower. That's of course the Blackpool Tower, 518 feet it stands, inspired by the Eiffel Tower, and was opened actually to the public back in 1894. That is of course the famous Blackpool Tower. And the field, well, this long approach now to the line.
The riders will soon be able to see the tower. Here we come along, pan flat now, dead straight last 3 kilometres into the finish, no bends to negotiate.
Zach Dempster on the front, the Australian, riding on the Enduro team, past winner of the Rutland Sequel Classic, which is the toughest of all the single day races on the UK domestic calendar. Dempster on the front then, fancying his chances. Tiernan-Locke, he's just tucked in on the inside. And then we're looking at Bernard Eisel, and then and then just behind there as well is Knies.
Here we've got one of the Irish riders from An Post trying to go clear, but I tell you what, Hugh, he isn't going to be allowed to get very far whatsoever.
Tell you what, you need a motorbike to ride away from the Sky team, so Lee Howard must really fancy his chances, but I think this effort's going to be in vain. He'll just get swept up, because when you think they'll be travelling at something like 28 miles an hour here, so to establish a lead he's got to be going at something like 40. It's just not on, is it?
No, it's not on when you've got riders like Bernie Eisel in your wheel chasing you down. Your chances are absolutely zero. No chance whatsoever to stay away, and that effort there by Ampos was extremely short-lived.
Three kilometres to go now for the leaders. Now then, just keep an eye on the professional formation of the Sky team as they begin to set the charge up, and they've got Riderson Enduro in the mix as well here.
Christian Knies there taking up the pressure on the front, really has started to drive this small select group on to the finish and on to a sprint finish for his team sprinter Mark Cavendish.
Cavendish looking very comfortable in the wheel of Luke Rowe. Wiggins is just in front of Luke Rowe. So that brace of super talent is going to give Cavendish the final launching pad for the line. Tiernan Lock is just in front of Wiggins as we've got 2.3 kilometres to go here on the Blackpool Promenade.
This is all going to be about timing. Timing crucial for anybody who wants to cross this line here under the tower in first place. As we see Mark Cavendish just on the left-hand side of the screen, just going out of our shot now. He's got his teammates up there with him.
1.8 kilometres to go. It's a little bit greasy here on the promenade, but the fact that it is dead straight is going to be a great advantage for the field. Still on the front, really turning the screw is Sky.
They really are applying the pressure, aren't they? Russell Downing there in second place. Jonathan Tiernan Lock in his wheel from Endura Racing. And then we've got Bradley Wiggins in fourth.
And then Luke Rowe.
Luke Rowe will be the man to set up Mark Cavendish, as we see. It looks like one of the American teams there, Garmin Sharp, trying to come up, getting in on the action, but Bradley Wiggins there, he's closed the road down on the right-hand side. This is perfect at the moment for Mark Cavendish there in third place.
He wouldn't allow that, would he? The intruder was trying to get into the train, and Wiggins just rode across and palmed him off and said, "You're not going to spoil our lead out." Coming up now to the red pennant, the lantern, the 1 kilometre to go sign, the red kite, and it's Wiggins on the front here, really beginning to turn the screw, and Luke Rowe is in second position, and look out for Mark Cavendish. Cavendish is going to be trying to come through to get involved in the final chase.
Lee Howard has just come up on the left-hand side there of Cavendish and got in front. Cavendish has allowed him to get in front there. He needs wheels. He wants people to be in front of him. It looks like Wiggins there. He's just gone off the front, and now we're starting the sprint, and it's Luke Rowe on the front.
Luke Rowe is the man on the front, but now look at this then, head-to-head as they look for the line. It's the Australian on the left, but on the line it is Cavendish again. Mark Cavendish takes it right on the line. Well, the challenge came, didn't it, then, from Lee Howard, but it was Mark Cavendish that had the electric power to deny the Australian Lee Howard his second stage victory. Instead, it's Mark Cavendish, the world champion, that took the second stage victory of the tour. And will that be enough now to put him into the IG Markets gold jersey with the 10-second bonus?
Oh, I think that's going to be happening. My, that was starting to get a little bit messy from the shots we saw there. United Healthcare and Garmin Sharp all trying to get in on the action, trying to muscle in there on Bradley Wiggins, and Luke Rowe trying to set Mark Cavendish up.
Well, there we are. Here's a replay then of the closing stages of the sprint, and of course the rider from Sky has distanced himself.
Yep, that's Luke Rowe there, I think, who's gone off clear.
And then the challenge came from the IG Markets gold jersey, Lee Howard. And look here, Cavendish, look, just coming round the outside. Howard still holding off the challenge of Cavendish, but Cavendish, with the electric burst to the line, distanced himself by almost a length. And Lee Howard was actually third over the line there. Coming through on the extreme right was one of the riders there from Garmin Sharp. We'll tidy that one up, but it was Mark Cavendish with the unbelievable power, unbridled passion. He attacked the closing stages to nail his second stage victory. Boy Van Poppel coming through there as well in the Chain Reaction Cycles points classification jersey. Boy Van Poppel is in the mix as well. Looks as though he may have got fourth. There was also a rider from there from Endura. What a sprint that was.
Yep. Russell.
So we'll take a break.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Where's Earl? Lunch break's nearly over. Probably out buying some new gizmo. Don't worry, he's always on time. Actually, he's often back early, just like a Wonga loan.
Too right, Joyce. Take out a cash loan for up to 31 days, and we make it really easy for you to pay it back early. In fact, nearly a quarter of our customers do.
Told you he'd be early. Next thing you know, he'll be on a hoverboard.
Well, he won't be taking me back to the future.
Wonga.com, straight talking money.
Go compare! Go compare!
Saving, yeah? Try saving this.
Enjoy your more!
Yes. I've been asked many times what my number one interview was. Tough question. But for over 50s life cover, the nation's number one choice is clear. The guaranteed over 50 plan from Sun Life Direct. We'd all like to leave something for our loved ones to help with funeral costs or as a cash gift. And with the nation's number one, you can do just that. If you're aged between 50 and 85, you're guaranteed to be accepted without any health questions. Cover starts from just £4 a month. You can't get this kind of cover for less. After you've had the plan for 2 years, a cash sum is paid when you're gone. Call this number today. The first month's premium is free. You get a free Parker pen just for inquiring and a welcome gift when you join. Why not put your family first with the number one choice? Call free on 800 50 55 50 or visit sunlife.co.uk.
It's the Plus Net Cheerleaders! Yeah! It's a fantastic new deal from PlusNet. Half-price broadband and UK calls from only $3.24 a month. Am I dreaming? Nope. Broadband and UK calls really are half-price from only $3.24 a month. For 12 months. Half-price broadband and UK calls from $3.24 a month. Call 0800 313 4444. And we're Which recommended again. PlusNet will do you proud.
They say a problem shared is a problem halved. And that's why Age UK are here, to help you make the most of later life. So if you need advice, get in touch. Age UK can help you stay independent in your own home, find the right care for you or a relative, or help you stay active and healthy. They may even be able to help you get more money if things are tight. For your free guide about the little things you can do to stay independent, give Age UK a call or visit their website. Sponge cake.
Love Film Instant. It's new, a doddle to use, and simply a great way to watch unlimited TV series and movies instantly.
This is totally insane.
If you've got broadband and any of these devices, you're almost there. Sign up, start your free trial, and then it's just $5 a month.
What?
We've got stuff you can't see anywhere else. There's no long-term contracts to worry about.
We share everything now.
So what's stopping you? Love Film Instant from Amazon.
You try your best to bring them up right. Teach them how to behave. But they'll still go where they shouldn't and get into scrapes or even need a visit to the vet. So it's good to know that pet insurance from Sainsbury's Bank provides fantastic comprehensive cover up to £7,500 in vet's fees for illness or injury. What's more, when you buy over the phone, you can get a £50 gift card. Plus double Nectar points on your Sainsbury's shopping for 2 years. Call now on 08000 121 616.
Who is the best player in the world? For 20 years, we've been here for the moments you'll never forget. And we're not stopping now.
The greatest night in Chelsea's history.
The Champions League returns. Real Madrid v Manchester City, Tuesday from 7:30, live on ITV1.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Welcome back to the promenade in Blackpool, where I'm pleased to say the sun is shining now. The wind is still blowing, and the crowd have something to celebrate, don't they, Rob Hales? Yet another Mark Cavendish win. That's 2 out of 2, stage 4 and stage 5. I mean, trademark in some respects.
Classic, wasn't it? Cavendish. He got himself up the front there. He had his teammates there, Wiggins obviously, and then Luke Rowe took over. Felt that he was a little bit too far ahead, as he did the other day in Knowsley. So he just moved back, and he allowed actually Lee Howard to get in front.
It is interesting there, Rob, just how far Luke is in front of the bunch there, and that's the second time we've seen that move from him. What is that? Is that a slight lack of experience?
No, I think it's just the way it is. Once he's set and he's got his lead out timed, he just does his effort, and then it's up to Cavendish to ride in behind him and just work it out for himself, which he has done there. And what he did basically, he put the pressure on Lee Howard. Howard had to take up the chase, and that was where he used his speed and his strength, and he just ran out of legs at the end. And Cavendish, in the end, he was able to cross the line with ease.
So that's a question of Mark Cavendish improvising there slightly with that gap of developing to Luke Rowe. I mean, of what use is it to Mark if Luke Rowe gaps him like that?
No, it's fine. It's fine, because what it does, he makes the other riders have to chase.
Right.
Because let's face it, if they don't chase and Luke Rowe takes the win, then he takes the victory for the team, and also those 10-second time bonuses which he dearly needs for the GC. So it's a win-win situation for Sky there.
Yes, I understand that now. Now, looking at the way the race developed there, it was interesting what an effort that Sky, and Matt Stevens has joined us as well. Matt, what an effort Team Sky put in there to bring that all back together again, and how much damage they did to the race as well. That was a very small group that came back.
First time in the race, the roads became extremely flat, extremely exposed, and it was a raging crosswind. They just put it in the gutter, and only about 25 guys could stay with them. So a really, epic classics finale to today's stage.
Well, it was the effort that Wiggins put in. It was so far out for him to have his teeth out, and I was thinking, well, he really is doing some damage here, and then when we saw the shot, that was the reason why.
So this is the order they crossed the line. Steliv von Hoff for Garmin Sharp. Well, he finished in second. Lee Howard in third. Boy van Poppel once again placing highly, and well done to him. He's in fourth place. Ross Downing again sticking with the pack, so good on him. He's in sixth place. Sepp van Marker, he won't go away, will he? He survived that selection there.
He did. He also punctured and got back on again, so that guy is in big form.
Did he?
Yeah.
Luke Rowe in 10th place, and what you can't see there, but in that pack was John Tiernan Locke there, whose race is still to come, if you like, in the mountains, so he's kept himself right in GC contention.
Yeah, 3 Enduro Racing up there, all read that move so well. Partly luck, but that's the reason why we see these teams all working so well earlier on in the race, just to stay up the front, and they'd have known that there were these flatlands coming up, the wind coming in across them, and it was Team Sky and Bradley Wiggins that did all the damage there.
Wiggins did damage, Christian Knees, Jez Hunt, they've operated very well as a unit, haven't they, Matt?
Well, they're possibly one of the best drilled, if not the best drilled squad in the world. So much horsepower, so much experience, and look at the damage they caused today.
Yes, indeed, and they haven't always got this race as right as they appear to be getting it this time around, have they, Rob?
No, I mean, the first year they rode into Stoke, I think it was, and they had 3 or 4 guys in a small group at the end, and they really did make a mess of it and put 2 of their GC riders out, just trying to lead out for a sprint. I think it was Greg Henderson they were trying to lead out, and he didn't take the victory in the end anyway. So they've got their act together at the moment, and rightly so. And they are developing as a squad. I mean, they were a new squad back then, and they really have learnt. And I mean, they've come away with the Tour de France victory, first and second for that team, and so you can't learn a lot more than that.
All's well that ends well. It started with rain, it's finished with sunshine. We'll have more reaction after a very short break. Join us in a minute.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
At Crown, we help you express yourself through colour. So whatever your personality, Crown can bring it out. Because to us, it's not just paint, it's personal.
A massive great no-claims discount of 75%. That's what great driving could earn you with LV car insurance. But the savings don't stop there. Our multi-car offer means you and your partner could both save with your own NCDs and get extra multi-car discounts on top of that year after year. Talk multiple savings to our lovely people on 0800 723 723 or visit lv.com.
Beautiful and loving. They've given all they can to their owners. Their reward, to suffer in agony, Poor James was left alone in a field for 2 years. When we rescued James, he was crippled, but we can help him. We care for thousands of donkeys. We give them love, and in our UK sanctuaries, they can live happily for the rest of their lives. The sad truth is we're having to help more and more neglected donkeys all over the world, and without your help, we can't be there for them all. Please help us care for more donkeys. If you love animals, please call the Donkey Sanctuary now. Call 0800 035 5671 and give £2 a month to show you care. Thank you.
I baptise thee.
Herbert Jocelyn Cruttenden Shaw.
What the deuce?
Oh, it's all here on findmypast.co.uk.
And with our 14-day free trial, now's the time to start your family tree. You can search millions of family history records, bringing you even closer to your past.
Are you a relative?
Bertie there is my great-great-grandfather.
Start your free trial now at findmypast.co.uk.
Get a shiny new Samsung Galaxy Ace with all the internet you'll ever need for just £13 a month. It's the Android-powered smartphone that's great for gamers and searchers and tweeters and social networkers and loads of other apps. And you get 5,000 texts and 100 minutes. And a great smartphone with a 5-megapixel camera and touchscreen from the UK's fastest-growing mobile network. Get yours now. Call 0800 358 4323. Search online for 3 or visit a 3 store.
You try your best to bring them up right. Teach them how to behave. But they'll still go where they shouldn't and get into scrapes or even need a visit to the vet. So it's good to know that pet insurance from Sainsbury's Bank provides fantastic comprehensive cover up to £7,500 in vet's fees for illness or injury. What's more, when you buy over the phone, you could get a £50 gift card. Plus double Nectar points on your Sainsbury's shopping for 2 years. Call now on 08000 121 616.
Injury Lawyers for You are specialists in our field. We are expert, realistic and supportive. Just the way you want us to be if you were to get hurt. So if you've got a real claim and you're looking for some real lawyers, call Injury Lawyers for You now. We are Injury Lawyers for You.
So much can change in 4 years. That's why we've introduced the all-new Renault 4 Plus package. No matter where life takes you, we'll be there.
Pause! Engage! The giants of British sport return for another bone-crunching season of hard knocks and tough tackles. The stage is set. Be right there with us for every try. Aviva Premiership Rugby continues Sunday at 8 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Welcome back to the promenade here in Blackpool, where we're still digesting what was a very eventful run-in, and Mark Cavendish with a trademark win. He now leads the general classification on the Tour of Britain, something that he hasn't always expressed a great desire to do, but now he's here and the sun's shining and he's going to pull on the leader's jersey. He's going to enjoy that moment, isn't he? As we see the podium ceremonials go through there, we've just seen Christian House take his, he's stretched a huge lead now in the King of the Mountains, hasn't he, Rob? Good day for him as well as Cavendish.
He wants that Skoda King of the Mountains jersey badly, I think, and he's just gone out there. Was it 4 stages, 3 days out on front? He took maximum points today. Admittedly, the other guys, they weren't interested in competing for that, and probably rightly so, because none of them were up there, and they've allowed him to do that. John Herity will be extremely pleased with his guys tonight.
Definitely. I mean, I think Christian pulled the pin, didn't he, with about 20k to go, conserving his energy for tomorrow, no doubt. You know, he's done his job today.
And there we see, that's the cheese that is awarded for the Prix de la Combativité, I believe, at the Combativity Prize. And Post, Sean Kelly's rider there, Ronan McLaughlin, good ride from him.
Yeah. tough rider, isn't he? And he really did go out there, and he tried to give as much as he could all the way into the finish. It was fairly inevitable, I think, that it was going to come back to that sprint finish. But as always, the riders out there who aren't wanting to wait for that finish, they're always trying to push on and push forward.
Yeah, I think Ann Post, the Sean Kelly Ann Post, we've got a tradition in this race of being extremely aggressive, and those green jerseys, as soon as the flag drops, they're normally up the road. So yeah, super aggressive rider from those guys. Well deserved the Ruler Cheese Award.
Matt, on that bombshell, I'm going to ask you, if you may, just to step to one side and hand over the microphone to this gentleman here, Brian Cookson. Thank you very much for joining us, Brian. Brian, the head of British Cycling. Here we are. The sun always shines in Blackpool, doesn't it?
It's throughout Lancashire and the northwest generally. It's always sunny and pleasant, obviously. Yeah.
Now this race is really establishing itself in the calendar, isn't it? Grows year on year, and now with live television coverage going across the world to more countries, it's stepped up another gear, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic race this year in this great summer of cycling, sport generally for us. But the Tour of Britain's been a flagship event, and it's been a really well organised event, and it's great to see British riders doing so well again.
How's membership played out? Because I know that it grows year on year, and that's partly what you're all about. Has it grown again?
Absolutely, our membership's going through the roof. I think in the time between Bradley winning the Olympics, winning the Tour de France rather, and the Olympics starting.
He didn't win the whole Olympic Games, by the way.
Most of it, yeah. He did, as far as I'm concerned. But no, between the time of Bradley winning the Tour de France and the Olympics starting, we put on 3,000 members, and we're going through the roof. Basically, there's never been more interest in our sport.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Rob, you've been around the block a few years now, and you've recently announced your retirement as a rider. When you started, would you imagine the likes of Mark Cavendish, who there he is on the podium, lapping up the applause, leading this race, but much more significantly, perhaps, also the world champion, with Bradley Wiggins in the same team as the winner of the Tour de France, and as Brian rightly says, the Olympic gold medalist. Unimaginable just a few years ago, wasn't it?
It was unattainable back then, and it was something that the other nations did and the other riders, and to have been part of the track squad for so many years, and then to come forward, and then it's obviously transcended that, and it's onto the road now with world champion Cavendish and the yellow jersey being brought back, and the strength in depth that we do have at the top level in all sports, right across cycling sports, is really unbelievable, and it's great to be part of it and be able to stand here and talk about it.
Brian, where does it go from here? How can you improve on a summer like this?
Well, it's very difficult to think about where we can go, but we've got a great team of people working for us throughout British cycling, and with Team Sky as well, we've got the top professional road team in the world. There's no limit to the number of races we can win. The one-day classics, we can do better there. We can repeat the Tour de France. I'm sure Bradley's going to be wanting to get that yellow jersey on again, and I think it's just so encouraging for those of us who worked for the sport for many, many years, and guys like Rob who've seen there. We've gone from the hard days when we were a bit of a Cinderella sport right now to where we're probably one of the country's most successful sports in every respect, and we can only build on that.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Are we going to have a British winner of this race this year, do you think?
Yes, why not? Come on, it's about time, isn't it?
Could it be Mark
Let's
Cavendish?
do it. Yes, go on.
Really?
Keep it going. I don't know.
Okay, that is truthful. We are back live at 1:30 tomorrow with highlights at 7. Do join us. It's been great.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Forget your strong continental lagers, your Vorsprung Deutsch Technique and your Boris Becker. We bring you Germany's best export, the Bundesliga. All the action, rivalry and atmosphere from one of Europe's most exciting leagues. All packaged up in one show and delivered straight to your screen. The